Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. This exhortation comes to us, to all believers, from the book of Romans. Throughout this time, throughout this pandemic, we have been called to all of these: to rejoice, to hope, to patience, to constancy, and most of all, to prayer. Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, we were planning for a few weeks at most of worship online, of Bible studies online, of coffee hour online, and then we thought we'd be right back in the church, right back at it like we were before. Of course, that time has now stretched to months. We will have done 24 Sundays online since this began. Over that time, we have seen both spikes and dips in the numbers. We have seen hot spots emerge and things seemingly calm down. But one consistent thing we have seen is that all over the country, when guidelines are relaxed or not followed closely, when people stop being vigilant, more cases emerge, more people get sick, and more people die. As the Vestry and staff have looked at the coming months and looked at the trends in our communities and nationally, we have come to a difficult decision. We will need to maintain our current state of affairs for some time longer. We will need to continue to hope, to continue to be patient, and yes, to continue to pray. We have made the decision, with a unanimous vote of the Vestry, to continue to limit any potential regathering in person for groups, services, and ministries of more than 10 people until January 6th, 2021, the Feast of the Epiphany. In other words, our current phase of ministry, primarily online, will remain in effect until then. As schools regather, we have quickly seen them close again after outbreaks. As churches have met again, we have seen them suspend operations and worship just a week or two later when multiple cases have emerged. Right now in Pima County, the earliest the schools see being able to have any in-person classes is mid-October, if then. When students do return, we will have an almost unprecedented situation when people who have been isolated will suddenly be all together in close proximity to teachers and to staff, and of course to one another. These folks, these kids, these staff, these faculty will then go in and out of their homes, in and out of the community in an unprecedented way. We don't yet know what a second wave may look like, though the expert opinion is almost unanimously in agreement that fall and early winter will bring a second wave of new cases of COVID-19. This confusion will be compounded by the flu season as well, so we do not yet understand the course this will take. Even though we do not understand the course of the pandemic, we must understand that one of our core Christian obligations is to our neighbors, to the health of our neighbors, to the well-being of our neighbors. When we promise to seek and serve Christ in all persons, that must include our neighbors, and it must include us looking out for their well-being as we would ourselves, indeed, more cautiously, more carefully, more prayerfully than we would ourselves. Our unique position as the largest Episcopal parish in Arizona and one of the largest churches in Tucson means that we have a unique responsibility. While we would all love nothing more than to be ready to start gathering now, we cannot risk becoming a super spreader for infection in our community in order to prove our bravery or our faith. our witness to God's love is compromised when we put our needs or our desires ahead of the good of the community around us. The Lord knows our faith. He knows that we have been steadfast in hope, constant in prayer, and patient in this time. He also knows that we will have done everything we can to preserve and protect the lives of those who are at risk, both in our parish and outside of it. What we see in Scripture and in the lives of the saints is the willingness of Christians across history to live and love and serve in places and circumstances that challenge them to live in more Christ-like ways in the midst of difficult days, wherever they were and whatever they faced. Now, in this current time, as we live and worship and pray in our own day, we will continue to offer a range of opportunities in the weeks and months ahead to remain faithful together. In 2 weeks, we will be releasing a program calendar for the early fall, which will list courses, studies, small groups, outreach, and worship opportunities. We hope, we know that you will continue to pray for one another and to send prayer requests. We hope that you will let us know if you are struggling with the seeming loneliness of this time or know someone who could use help. In the weeks to come, let's stay fixed on the call of Romans to rejoice in hope, to be patient in tribulation, and to be constant in prayer.